Hey y'all, welcome back. This is episode 9 of our Jeep 4.0 bolt-on performance series. In episode 9, we're going to go ahead and we're going to bolt on a Banks revolver header. Then we're going to go ahead and put it on the dyno. We'll do a couple pulls and see what we make. Let's get into it. Okay, I thought I'd give you just a little quick side-by-side comparison here. You can see the construction. The Banks tubes are a little bit bigger, and of course it's kind of mandrel bent where it all flows nicely into one, whereas this is just kind of, whatever bends and things we could get, chop and weld and make things as... But I mean, I will say, like, this is a bigger pipe here, and that's, this is roughly 1.5 inches. That's probably about 2 inches or so. So they kept like necking the pipe up as they went down. I mean, not a bad exhaust manifold for stock. Suspension joints here. These are prone to cracking, but honestly, like, look at the abuse they go through. I think anything would be prone to cracking given, the abuse that these things, they get off-roaded and bounced around and overheated and and they're 30 years old, some of them, 25 years old, 30 years old. So it's not really surprising, but the Banks actually came on this Jeep when I bought it. And I'll be completely honest, it's cracked as well. Like, it's got cracks all over. So I took the MIG and kind of, they make this stuff, the aftermarket companies, and this is not a knock on Banks at all. It's pretty much everybody does it. I think that exhaust that we put on the MBRP as well, it's 409 stainless, which they call an automotive grade stainless. It's basically, I don't know. It's gonna sound like I'm ragging on them, but it's basically kind of, in my opinion, garbage stainless. It's supposed to deal with temperature and stuff like that, but it gets weird after it's heat cycled a bunch of times. It almost gets like it gets hardened or something, and it starts to crack. And then if you try repairing it, it almost like when you weld it, the metal just melts. Okay, I thought I'd show you what I'm working on right now. You might be able to kind of see, but it's kind of gross, for 250,000 miles. There's some carbon in there, and that might be where some of our power has gone as well. Especially in that one, man, there's some nice chunks in there. And then what we're doing right now is I'm installing the Texas Jeep Products ARP stud kit. So it basically consists of a stud that screws in the block, and it's a coarse thread stud that fits the block perfectly, and you get nice thread engagement. And then once the manifold goes on, it gets one of these cone washers, and that's really important because you want, for the mismatch in the manifold thickness, you want that washer to be able to go back and forth, but yet still be able to apply pressure, and that's done by making it kind of a cone. And so, there's different types of fasteners. The factory uses cones. There's some people that just use like a wing style or a big washer on their kits. The cones honestly work the best. This is ARP, genuine ARP hardware. I get it directly from ARP, and the cone washers are made in-house, and they're made from the same materials as bolts. It's like a 4140 chromoly, and then it gets a nut on here, and that's actually an undersized nut. So it's a 7/16 socket instead of the 9/16 that the factory uses, and it's designed to work with the cone washer. So you can get a smaller socket in there, make it all work good. Cone washer helps hold those manifolds on tight. It's a really good kit, and it's available on TexasJeepProducts.com. Go check it out. In the meantime, I'm going to keep cleaning up on this guy a little bit. I'm going to get all these studs installed, and I just want to show you this too. Look at this block for 250,000 miles. It's pretty clean. Old NVH block. It's got, you know, a little staining and some dirt and stuff on it, but man, it's actually in really good shape for the age. So thought that was kind of cool, you know, kudos Dodge. So we're gonna go ahead and get that the manifolds bolted back on here, the header and the intake manifold, and then let's get this thing put up on the rollers. All right, so we've got our header bolted on, everything's back together and tight, hopefully. We got it back up here on the dyno, we've got the air fuel in, everything's warming up right now. We're gonna go ahead and here in just a minute, we're gonna get set up for run number 1. All right, our timer's gone off. It's time to go ahead and start run number 1. We've got our HB tuners down here, all hooked up. Over there, we've got the dynos all set up. We're warmed up. We are rolled out. So I'm gonna go ahead, release the brake. See the wheels start spinning. All right, we're gonna put it down in second gear like we do. Okay. Get it up on speed here. All right, let's start run number 1. Check out the dyno and see what we did. All right, looking up here at the dyno, it looks like we lost a couple. 149 off of 154 and 185 off of 190. It's down just a little bit. Air fuel, if we had to compare, it looks like it richened up just a little bit. Interesting. Let's make sure. Let's see. What's the last one we did? Was catback? Yeah, so that wasn't the cold pull. That was just the regular catback best. So yeah, we lost a little bit of power off the catback. That's interesting. I wouldn't have guessed that with doing just the header. I wonder if it has something to do with it being slightly rich right there. I don't know. We're gonna have to do another pull and see what our air fuel is like. We may end up having to pull a little bit of fuel out, see if we can get that power to come back up. Let's let it cool off here a little bit and then we'll get set up for run number 2. All right, our timer's gone off. We're gonna go ahead and start run number 2. Take a look at what we've got. All right, looks like it fattened up still just a little bit, and power came up slightly, 150.7 and 186 torque. Let's take a look at our conditions here. I'm just curious. We're not quite as hot today. So the catback, it was 101 degrees today. It's only 86. Pressure's about the same, but humidity, we were 27 today, we're 48. So we're getting a little bit less SAE correction today. Well, at least on the last pull, we only got 2% versus the 3. And power was up just a little bit, but man, it actually, gosh, I don't know. Let's, I don't know if I should pull any fuel out or not. Where are we at here? So 12.7, I'm not mad at that. 12.9, 12.7. So we're like, you know, around about 0.3 on the top there. 13.0 versus 12.7. I mean, it's not a ton. It's just not making the power. And kind of all the way across, even up here at the top, where I would have expected the header to do better, it, you know, there's just, it's not doing it. It is not doing it. And I really don't think that messing with 0.3 on the air fuel is gonna really get us anywhere. Interesting. Well, I guess I could probably pull a little bit of fuel out of it and just see if it moves. You know, we're not going to be pulling much out, a couple percent maybe, and just see if it moves. So let me set up and do that, and then we'll do run number 3 and see if it makes a difference. Okay, so I went ahead and made some changes in HP. I pulled out 3% just on the very top. Hopefully that'll bring the air fuel back up to basically where it was before, give us the most fair and accurate results that we can get. I went ahead, loaded that in the PCM, and we're warmed up. We're ready for run number 3. So let's see if we can get our horsepower back. All right, here we go. Let's go take a look at the dyno and see what it did. Okay, so I wouldn't say it hated it. We did 151 and 186 torque. Looks like, you know, overall the curve looks pretty good still. And looking at the air fuel here, yeah, you know, 3% was probably a bit much. Yeah, that moved us quite a bit. Should have been like 1.5%, maybe 2%, something like that. I mean, up here on the top, we're 1298, 314. We're not far off, but it did move it up a little bit, especially in the middle, 13.4. And it really didn't seem like it loved it. I mean, we're still off of our 154 and our 190 torque. So let's go ahead. I think I am gonna try and squeak back in a little bit of fuel. Try and get this down a little bit. I'm gonna go back into, I think, to the original map, and I'm only gonna pull like maybe 1.5% instead of 3%. Kind of split the difference sort of deal. So let me do that, and then we'll get set up for our 0 to 60 run. All right, folks, we're back and we are ready for our 0 to 60. The timer's gone off. I went ahead and I loaded the tune from from the catback, and I went ahead and I just pulled 1.5% out of that. So kind of split the difference from where we were before and got set up, and I think we're ready. Basically everything, yep, check. We're ready for our 0 to 60. So let me get you set up here so we can see what's going on. All right, 0 to 60. We're gonna see if it squeaks the tires. We might have lost our tire squeak now that we're down power. Let's see, 0 to 60 in 3, 2, 1. All right, aggressive, but no tire spin. If you were paying attention, no tire spin, so I don't know. Oh, and the results are in. Kind of looks like what we thought. It's down. It's down on power. Wow, I think that might be our first mod that actually has made us go down. So it looks like our catback 0 to 60, we hit 60 at 6.5 seconds. And today, it took us till 6.8. Now there's a little bit of offset up here in the front. Once again, this is just, you know, 1.2 versus 1.4, so there's 2 there. So maybe it costs us 1/10. But you can see everywhere in the power band here, it's just not doing what it did before. Yeah, that's kind of disappointing. Let's go ahead and we'll do our snap test, and then let's get set up for some conclusions on this guy. All right, it's time for our stab test. We are set up. We're going to start sampling. All right, stab test in 3, 2, 1. All right. Let's see what we got. Okay, so not too far off of the catback, really, for the stab test. Air fuel looks like it's straightened out. We're real close to our catback. But catback did, you know, there's a couple spots here where it's still outperformed. So, I don't know, it's a little inconclusive. Let's, I'm gonna think on this for a few minutes before we do our conclusion. I'm not gonna do it right away here. Okay, I'm back. I put a little bit of thought into this, and I feel like the best thing to do is just be completely transparent and honest. And, you know, I feel like the header lost power, and I'm not sure if it's a function of, you know, the temperature. We were 93 on our last test with our catback when we, you know, we did our best. And that was not comparing it also to the run where I let it cool off. This is, you know, just the standard hood closed, set for 5 minutes, best of catback, which was, you know, that was our 154. The best we were able to squeak out today was like 151. And although that's not terribly far off, I mean, you know, it's really getting into kind of our margin of error, I would say, within a couple horsepower. But it was on the negative side of it, you know, and so header, I had high hopes for it. I really thought, you know, maybe 5 to 10. You know, I think, I haven't looked at the advertising, but I want to say they're saying maybe 20, maybe more. I don't know. I'd have to look. That's not fair. I don't know what Banks claims, or if they claim anything at all. I don't know. But this is really the first mod that we've done that, you know, we've given it the best chance that we can put it on there, that it really, you know, it actually lost power. We didn't do as good as we previously did. It's not that we did the same, we did less. And I actually think that, you know, given the cooler temperatures today, it should probably be doing better. Even just if it was the same, it should be doing better today. So I kind of think that's a fail, in my opinion. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. The other thing I need some opinions on, if you know, if you're willing to give them, should I leave this thing on? We lost power with it. Our goal is 200. If we're losing power with a mod, do we take that mod off? Or do we leave it on, hoping that maybe somewhere with the, you know, the camshaft we're going to put in and stuff, maybe it starts to do things later? Or do we take it off because, you know, it lost power? I don't know. The throttle body spacer is the only thing so far that we've taken off after we've put it on. And really that was more of a function of, A, it did nothing at all, and B, it was affecting the shift linkage and the transmission's ability to shift properly. Not that we couldn't have fixed that with some spacers on the throttle cable and stuff, but I didn't want to have to do all that for no horsepower. But yeah, I mean, you know, go ahead and write in the comments if you think we should leave this thing on or take it off and send it on down the road. Certainly doesn't have me convinced based on the numbers. So yeah, I guess that kind of wraps up episode 9. Episode 10 coming up. We are going to be doing the 1.7 roller rockers, and I'm actually going to probably do those very soon, and we'll get it back on the dyno and see if those make a difference whatsoever. But yeah, let me know on the header. Let me know what y'all think, if we think, you know, we should leave that thing on or take it off. And yeah, as always, I guess, thanks for watching. All right, I figured since we didn't have the best day on the dyno, we need a little pick-me-up. And I think the best way to do that is to come out here and do some real-world testing. And I've got the torque app pulled up on my phone here. You probably can't see it, the glare. But I'm gonna go ahead and get turned down around here and we're gonna try and do a 0 to 60. We'll see what we can have happen here. This is always so tricky. I don't have like the best places to do this. I mean, I've got a freeway here, but that's not perfect. And it's a little wet right here. And I want to get completely stopped, and of course that's always an issue. All right, so we're completely stopped. It says ready, 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 go. All right, here we go. We're going. We're still going. We're still going. All right, times are up. 11:3:36. 11:3:36 is what we got. So that's a little bit off of the optimistic dyno that said, I think it was 8 and change or something, or 7 and change. I don't even remember now, but that's quite a bit off the optimistic dyno numbers we had. But there we go. We've got some real world numbers, or at least, you know, from the torque app, which I don't know how accurate that is, but we can also probably look on the GoPro and watch it by the timer as well. So I may do that as well, and cut in here and let you know what the video timer says. But yeah, there we go, little treat for you. Hopefully that'll help bring up some of our spirits. So yeah, thanks for watching.